Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here at Hehr RV of Coldwater, Michigan with your monthly-ish recall report. I'm going to try to format this a little bit differently. I've always been under such time demands in the past that I just scan through the big list of recalls, print them out, and just start shotgunning through them one by one. And it's felt very chaotic and disorganized, but these are things that I fit in between everything else. And to give you an idea right now, at the time that this is coming out, I'm backlogged on new RV videos like 3 or 4 weeks, but still wanted to take the time to put this out and put this together. But I feel like this information is useless if it's not put together in a effective format. So what I'm going to kind of do is break this down in like categories like motorized, towable, vehicles, things like that. And I've got a handful of different things. And then if you're not aware of it, there's a huge propane regulator recall out there that is affecting pretty much the entire RV industry. That just continues to, I don't know if it's spread like wildfire or just the notices continue to come out. But short of that, let me know if you enjoy the little change in format here, and if you appreciate the way that we take the time out to put out safety info like this, whether you're a Hehr customer or not. I want you folks to know about this stuff. Keeping you and your family safe and out there and happy camping, that's absolutely always our #1 goal. So let's get started over in the motorized segment. First of all, the good folks over there at Tiffin RV have put a little notice out there dating back to 2018 up to, it looks like even some 22 models. It sounds like they may have had some things get out with the seat belts installed incorrectly, which obviously, you know, that's a pretty big highway safety issue. Next over to Coach House RV. There have been, I've noticed over the last month and a half, kind of like the regulator recall has affected lots of different brands. The Coach House has put a notice out that some of their windows may have an adhesive that isn't bonding properly. I saw something very similar to that with almost the exact same verbiage from the NHSTA, National Highway Safety Transit Authority, some traffic administration, something like it. I always get the acronym mixed up, but whatever the case may be. Like I saw something like that from Forest River, from the Integra motorized series from Thor, and now I'm seeing it here from Coach House. So apparently there's just somebody who supplies glue to the motorhome industry specifically that stuff ain't holding. I don't know. Vienna and Villaggio motorhomes, if you've never seen those, they some small but really classy stuff. Put a notice out recently where their exhaust line is running a little too close to a like molded plastic kind of outdoor baggage compartment, and it could cause it to melt or potentially catch fire. I hope nobody has to deal with anything like that, but apparently it's happened enough that they decided to make sure they put a safety recall out there to get these things handled at no charge for folks. Goes back a couple years actually. I feel like I've seen this one before, and maybe they're just finding more instances of it. Kind of like the window adhesive thing, like the propane regulator thing. There are certain things, and this one's by Newmar here, certain motorhomes they put out with a specific Cummins engine where, long story short, there could be a fuel leak in it, but it always, like, I've seen this look very, very familiar. It has something to do with fuel hoses. Anyway, for any of these things, by the way, I know I'm being very brief and here verbally. I leave you more details, like if you're like, oh, I think that I might be affected by that. I leave you some more details down in the video description where you can check those out, get recall numbers, or potentially get your manufacturer's customer service phone number, or sometimes there's a specific third-party group that will handle recalls on behalf of a manufacturer. I'll have that info down where you can learn a little bit more about it. Affecting about a little over 2,700 motorhomes, Spartan Chassis put a recall out dating back to 2018 where some of the instrument panels could go blank and leave you kind of flying blind a little bit going down the road. Triple E RV, who also makes some small but very nicely crafted things, put a notice out recently where there's a little light that illuminates the door handle so you can see where you're grabbing it, and evidently the way that everything's kind of wired up, something could short out and it could actually cause the handle to melt, which obviously makes accessing the RV difficult. Now over to the world of towable RVs. Grand Designs put a notice out where some Imagine trailers may have a Dexter axle whose internal bearings may not have been assembled incorrectly, which obviously could cause all kinds of failure when you're going down the road. Short month there on the towable side. It's been actually quite a quiet month on the towable recall side, which is nice to see. Over to the world of trucks, though, because something I also do is I don't look for just RV recalls. I try to look for vehicle recalls, specifically on vehicles that are common tow vehicles, because, you know, you figure most people that are with a towable RV probably have a vehicle to tow it. Dating back to 2018, there is a slug of almost 160,000 Toyota Tundras, whose headlights may actually like flip on the high and low beams simultaneously, which can overload the circuit and potentially cause a headlight fire risk. Ford has put out a notice on about 16,000 2021 F-150s where the a seatbelt assembly may not be routed properly, and it basically may not be restraining a driver in accordance with highway safety regulations. Chrysler has also put out a notice on what was it, like something like over 212,000 Ram pickups dating back to 2015, where their side airbag assembly, and this was interesting, it was specifically on trucks whose GVWR was under 10,000. Apparently there's a divider line in there. I won't pretend to know what it is. That's what the report indicated. But essentially what's happening is your side airbags on these, the device that causes it to inflate and whatnot, the blasting cap, if you will, it may detach and angle a little bit funny, which may actually cause it to, I don't know how else to say it other than turn the door of the vehicle into like a claymore and start shooting shrapnel at you instead of an airbag. I can't think of a better way to describe it than that. So yeah, obviously the good people making the Ram pickups, not really interested in sending you down the road with a rolling claymore, and they're getting that addressed for you. And finally, back to that giant Wintec propane regulator recall. If you haven't heard about this, basically dating back to like the dawn of time, there's a company who's been supplying easily the most common propane regulator used in the entire RV industry for ever, it looks like. This month, Highland Ridge, Jayco, Airstream, Grand Design, more brands have announced more models that have this recall affected on it. I've seen people in user forums finally getting it taken care of. It's been a slow process for some people just because it's such a widespread recall, because again, it's not related to one manufacturer. This is a part from a supplier that has just been the default go-to part used in the RV industry since longer than I've been, as far as I can tell, even in this business, which is over 12 to 13 years. So that is something that, again, if you've got, I would say, actually I've seen some brands as new as some 21s with that recall. It doesn't hurt to check that information in the description to see if maybe yours was one of the ones mentioned here, or maybe go back 1 or 2 months previous on our recall reports here. Check the notes on those to see if maybe you have a camper that's affected by it. But it's one of those things, it almost looks like if you have an RV built in the 2021 model year or before, there's a pretty good chance that you might need to have the regulator swapped out on that thing. And that's all I have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Remember, this video, the purpose of these is not about calling out specific manufacturers. You may notice we provide recall information in these on brands that both we do and don't carry here at Hehr RV. This is not about trying to sling mud, trying to degrade confidence in anybody. This is 100% about keeping you and your family safe, keeping you on the road, and keeping you out of the service centers as much as possible, because in a lot of times, especially in these sorts of instances, an ounce of prevention is just worth a pound of cure. So thank you once again on behalf of Hehr RV. My name is Josh the RV Nerd. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy Hehr camping, everyone.